So I just like to share, sir, Sanjeev sir. When we visited sir over there, I always remember that incident. Uh, जब प्लांट में मॉर्निंग में सर प्लांट विजिट के लिए जब हम गाड़ी में बैठे तो सर लोग भी बैठ गए, मैं भी बैठ गया, मैं आगे बैठा, ईडी सर पीछे बैठे थे, सीएम सर भी थे। बैठ गए हम, गाड़ी स्टार्ट नहीं हुई। हम 2 मिनट में वेट करो तो क्या हुआ, क्यों नहीं स्टार्ट हुई गाड़ी। फिर मैं पीछे मुड़ के देखा, मुझे लगा शायद सर ने कुछ इशारा किया होगा। ड्राइवर की तरफ हमने ध्यान ही नहीं दिया सर। तो आई एम श्योर सर आप समझ गए हो क्या बोल रहे हैं। फिर अल्टीमेटली जब सर ने बोला के जा सकते ईडी सेफ्टी, सर ने बोला क्या हुआ चलो फिर। तो फिर मैं ड्राइवर को बोला सर, तब उसने बड़े पोलाइटली से बोला सर सीट बेल्ट थोड़ा लगा लीजिए। तो मैंने सीट बेल्ट लगा लिया, बट से आगे मैं बैठा था। तो फिर उसने बोला नहीं सर पीछे का भी सर लगा लीजिए। और somehow सर वो हुआ, frankly admitting it, by the end of the trip sir it we also got habituated and अभी हैचबैक भी मैं चलाता हूँ तो मैं कोशिश करता हूँ पीछे में भी अगर लॉन्ग ड्राइव पे निकलूँ तो वो थोड़ी हैबिट क्रिकेट हुआ है, बिकॉज इट स्ट्रक समवेयर इन द कॉर्ड ऑफ माय माइंड सर।
No, no. So this is a habit that took a long time for all of us to also get used to. और अब हालत ये है कि हम लोग उस ओला उबर में भी नहीं बैठते हैं जिसमें पीछे सीट बेल्ट नहीं होती है। सो वी डोंट, ठीक है दूसरी गाड़ी आएगी।
So, while sir, few more people are joining, sir, we'll start in a couple of minutes. Sir, we normally keep it, sir, 5 to 6, sir. I'm sure, sir, sir ने आपको बताया था, so just for the house also, and we will give, sir, complete dedicated of time to you only to listening, and if you want, sir, you can take Q&A, or else normally, sir, at last 15 minutes or 10 minutes we keep for Q&A, and 5 to 6 we try to do it, sir. Though we
Fair
wanted to
enough.
listen more, but
So should I begin?
let me just check, sir.
Rajesh,
Sir, we'll start, sir. Sanjay, sir, we can start.
Rajesh,
Sir?
we can start.
Okay. So let me just formally welcome, sir. I welcome all the seniors. Good evening, all the sir and madam. And I am delighted to welcome you for the another edition of the Antardrishti. Antardrishti is, we all know, is meaning the insight, inner vision. And in this new episode of this new year, first of all, Happy New Year to all of you. And we begin with a new thought of Antardrishti. And we are again excited to continue in our series on having a talk with the eminent speakers in this Antardrishti series. And in this 17th edition, we will be talking about the leadership lessons from the transforming organization that is Tata Steel. But before we welcome our speaker, I would request Atanu Mukherjee sir for his welcome address, sir, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh. And good evening to all of you and very, very happy new year to all of you. This is as already all the executive directors and chief general managers who are connected online. Already you know about the Antardrishti platform. Antardrishti is a series of thought-provoking online interaction. Basically, it is aiming at providing the CGMs and EDs of the Steel Authority of India Limited with fresh perspective on the topic which is critical to the leadership success. But this time we are having a distinguished speaker, and so I also like to welcome Mr. Sanjeev Palsa, who is an accomplished sustainability leader and former vice president of Tata Steel. And he was having over 35 years of experience in the steel industry. Palsa has led numerous transformational initiatives driving safety, health, and sustainability excellence. So I'm sure we are going to experience a great learning from him. And today's focus of today's Antardrishti session is that basically we will be learning a lot of key leadership lessons from the journey of Mr. Sanjeev Palsa at Tata Steel. And also, we will try to learn how the safety can be integrated into the core business operation. And how, as a leader, we can lead the team during the uncertainty and the change phase. So these three things will be the focus of today's Antardrishti. Once again, I like to welcome all the chief general managers and the executive directors of Steel Authority of India Limited in this Antardrishti session. Thank you. Over to Rajesh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And as you correctly mentioned, sir, we always say safety first, and it's good to start the new year with a session on the safety. And we also have very esteemed man who drove this journey in the Tata Steel organization. We always look forward in terms of the best practices. And if I formally give you the introduction of sir, as Tanu sir has also said, has a thorough experience of more than 35 years in the various facets. Like he has been driving safety, health, and environmental performance at Tata Steel. Sir is an metallurgical engineer, and he has held key leadership roles, including, as we know, Vice President of Safety, Health, and Sustainability at Tata Steel. But he has also held a very influential leadership position and a key transformation projects that he had took at Tata Metallics and also at Jisco. So, sir, expertise lies in implementing innovative solutions which enhance the quality, efficiency, and sustainability, along with leading strategic initiatives for the business growth. Sir, we welcome you, sir. And without further ado, sir, we hand over to you, and we look forward to listening to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Rajesh and Atanu, for the very warm welcome and a bit too longish introduction. I don't deserve that kind of an introduction, but thank you so much for it. Wishing everybody who is present here from SAIL a very happy new year and greetings of the season. I'll begin. See, Sanjay gave me a brief. पहले अतनु जी ने बताया कि it will be a talk on safety, something which I had done at IIM Kozhikode for the management development program of SAIL. But Sanjay expanded the brief a little bit, and so I would be talking about one or two more things. 1 hour is obviously a very small time to be talking about sharing my experiences, but brevity, they say, is the hallmark of genius. I am far from it, but I'll try and see 1 घंटे में कितना हम लोग cover कर सकते हैं. Let me begin by sharing a presentation with you.
You could see the screen, sir.
Share हुआ?
Yes, sir. You can make it full slide, sir.
Yes, sir.
Share हो गया, sir.
Sir, now you can put it in full screen and it will share.
Yeah. Is it full screen now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Antardrishti, this is a wonderful name that you have given. And today is my day of sharing experiences with the leadership team of SAIL. Thank you for the invitation, Sanjay, Atanu, and Rajesh. Sanjay asked me to share some key leadership lessons from my tenure at Tata Steel, discuss or touch upon some challenges and opportunities in leading teams through change and uncertainty. And finally, the subject, which is, I think, probably the most important subject, which is the integration of safety into core business operations and creating a culture of safety in the organization. So, my paradigm on leadership lessons basically is being formed by the leadership of Tata Steel. I have put in some photographs, many of who you will recognize. I'm reasonably certain you'll recognize all of them actually. The founder, J.N. Tata, he was the visionary who set up the group some 150 odd years ago. Sir Dorabji Tata, who actuated and brought that vision to reality, his son, J.N. Tata's son. J.R.D. Tata, who was the chairman for the maximum duration for Tata Group, more than 50 odd years. And of late, we have had Mr. Ratan Tata, who was the chairman after J.R.D. Mr. Rusi Modi, who was the chairman and managing director of Tata Steel, the company which I belong to. And he's the one who actually selected me as well. I gave my interview to Rusi Modi, so I have very fond memories of this great gentleman as well. The next managing director was Dr. J.J. Irani, who made probably the most significant changes to Tata Steel and shaped Tata Steel to to a position where it could take off. And then the likes of Mr. Muthuraman, Mr. Nerurkar, and now TV Narendran have brought the company to a pass which is amongst the top 10 steel companies of the world. The lessons that one has learned in the 35 years of working in such an organization where the culture has been shaped by such great gentlemen have been many, but I'll just list 4 or 5 of them. The importance of ethical leadership. Ratan Tata could easily have got his. He was a flyer. And had a great desire to set up an airline back in the 90s when Jet and Kingfisher and so many others, Sahara, so many other Damania, these names came up. They said they could set up an airline in the 90s when India got started its economic liberalization. But Tata's couldn't. He was made to sit in front of the office of the Minister of Tourism at that time, who was looking after civil aviation. Subsequently, the Minister of Civil Aviation of Government of India was not given even an audience with the minister for the very obvious reasons, because he could not compromise on his ethical standing. And he had gone with the proposal of a joint venture between Singapore Airlines and Tata to create an airline for India. At that point in time, he couldn't. Vistara came in much later, around 2010 or something. But at that point in time, he couldn't. What was desired was a paltry sum. I wouldn't want to name either the minister or the amount, but if you Google, you'll know. But R&T did not compromise on his principles. And this is not the first or the last incidence of ethical behavior that the group or the leadership has shown. This is one of the many. I'm giving an example. But I'm also saying that for people like us who worked in the group, I was in Tata Steel, these used to be the examples that we would stand for and stand with. In each of our leadership journeys, we have also come across many instances where the desire to compromise has been immense because competition is going forward, going ahead. And in India, who knows better than all of us that nothing moves without speed money. But I can vouch for Tata Steel. The leadership of Tata Steel never, ever stood for it. I can also tell you one more thing, which is from a very personal experience, which is I had to undergo a CBI case for something which I will offline we can always discuss, which was a fake case of CBI. And for 15 years, Tata Steel fought that case for me to clear my name. 35 lakhs का कुछ दिखाया जा रहा था गड़बड़. The company would have spent around 80 to 100 crores on lawyers in the High Court and Supreme Court for 15 odd years to clear my name. So this is the kind of support the company can give if it is certain that the guy is ethical, that the team is ethical. And if it is not, and even if there is a whiff of unethical behavior, there is no sunwai. There is no tolerance for it. 3 चीजों के लिए टाटा ग्रुप में, टाटा स्टील की मैं I can vouch more for Tata Steel, there is no tolerance. One is unethical behavior. The other is violence, अगर आपने किसी पे हाथ उठा दिया. The third is sexual predatory. So these 3 things for an officer, you don't need to have evidence which can be proven in court. Loss of confidence by the management is good enough reason for management to ask you to leave. So this is the importance of ethical leadership that Tata Steel shows. And this to me is the biggest leadership lesson that I learned as in my 35 years of working for Tata. The need for continuous learning and growth. You can see I joined the company in 86. We were a 2 million ton company at that point in time. Today we are 20 in India, some 10 odd in Europe, and we are hoping to become 40 million tons in India by 2030. So this couldn't have happened without continuous learning and growth, and there are plenty of examples to show for it. The importance of effective communication, I will talk about that a little bit later. The power of empathy and compassion. Dr. Irani became the managing director in 1992. We were making 2 million tons and had more than 78,000 people on our rolls. 78,000 and counting. There was no end to the count. If I say today that we don't really know how many more people were there, 78 tha ke 79 tha ke 80 tha, I would not be joking. We had no goddamn count of the number of people that we had. And all consultants and everybody who knew how to run a steel company was telling us that this company will not survive under the weight of this kind of legacy costs. And it was important to modernize the company. It was important to modernize the workforce as well. And it had to begin with reducing the number of people that the company was supporting. So Dr. Irani started a VRS campaign, voluntary retirement scheme. It is now called the Employee Separation Scheme. And the offer he gave to the employees was that people would be given 1.8 times their basic plus DA till the time they would have supposed to retire for separation. It was a wonderful offer, and the best of, not the best, many of the good guys left the organization because it was too lucrative an offer to refuse. 1.8 times 35-40-year people left the organization because they knew 60 saal tak utna milega, and they immediately got a job somewhere else. Because of the Tata name, the job, Tata was not a very good paymaster. It never has been a very good paymaster. People would get very good salaries. So this was manna from heaven, a windfall for many of the employees at that point in time, 1.8 times of basic plus DA. It gradually reduced to 1 times in the next so many years. That scheme still exists. But we brought down the force from 78,000 plus to around 45,000 by 2000, by the time Dr. Irani retired. And all in a very empathetic and compassionate manner, without putting the employees through hard times, taking responsibility of their families. So this is a landmark ESS scheme, something which Dr. Irani is remembered by. The need for giving back to society. Our CSR is legendary. Before the term CSR was coined, Tatas were finding ways of giving back to society, and they've been known for that. In fact, in the early 2010s, there came a legislation which said that 2% of your profits are supposed to be CSR, and it became mandatory. And when we looked back, we found that we were spending more than that anyway. Even when we made profit or we did not make profit, our spend on society was more than 2% for years together. In fact, it was much, much more than 2%, because it was not dependent on the profits that we made. It was already always a part of cost of steel. But these were responsibilities as big as important responsibilities as making steel was. So that expenditure would always happen. Everything else, giving back to the shareholders, probably was a priority which is lower than that of society. Walk the talk. I think the group Tata Steel has had the benefit of having leaders which have been relevant for their times. And one of the things that made them the leaders that they were because they would walk the talk. As leaders, all of us are leaders. But the bigger the leader you are, the bigger the lens through which people watch you. Each and every action of yours is visible to everybody. What you say is surely important, but what you do becomes more important. And our leaders have always realized that and have known the importance of it. And fortunate to say that our leaders have always been able to walk the talk. Easier said than done, but yes, they have been leaders enough to do that. The second thing that Sanjay asked me was to talk about challenges and opportunities in leading teams through change and uncertainty. And I will go on this with some of the experiences that I have had. Sorry, gentlemen, if you could, if you're
You can
asking a
continue,
question.
sir. Muted it, sir.
Okay. So I will draw on the challenges and opportunities through the experiences that I have had in the organization. One of the things that I did was total operational management, which was a big change program, late 90s. If you would recall, many of you would surely have been there in the steel group, in SAIL. Steel as an industry went through horrid times at the end of the last millennium. The late 90s was probably the worst period for the steel industry in the world. None of the steel companies in the world, and there were hundreds of them, made profit during the late 90s, early 2000s, and were barely surviving. And that is the time when everybody was saying that we need consolidation in steel. Ratan Tata was also a new chairman in Group Tata, and McKinsey was the consultant for Mr. Tata, who was helping him uh, reshape his portfolio. His portfolio had steel, Tata Steel, motors, Tata Motors, computers and services, which is the TCS, and various other Tata Chemical, and there were many other Titan and many other companies. So he was looking to reshape his portfolio, and what was advised to him was that it was a dot-com time. It was advised to him that steel is a sunset industry, and this is something that it would be better if he got out of it, if he wants to show higher group performance. Steel is not the one that will give it to him. Steel was in very bad shape anyway, as I told you. But Mr. Ratan Tata also knew that this is not something that will hold water or go down well with the rest of the group. He himself had emotional attachment to steel. He had done his training here, and he did not go by that advice of the world-renowned consultant McKinsey. So McKinsey offered him another thing. He said, "Okay, let's look to turn around the performance of the company," and they introduced an improvement program called Total Operational Management, which was a very concentrated, comprehensive, intensive 3-month modular program. 3 months, 3 months, 3 months karke every various parts of the manufacturing group it would go, manufacturing and service, excepting for marketing and sales at that point in time. And it would impact the cost, the quality, and the throughput parameters of each of those units. For example, sinter plant would be one unit. The steel melting shop would be another unit. The blast furnaces would be another unit. And along with the McKinsey guys, some 15 odd facilitators, which were the high performing guys from the organization, youngsters, were chosen to help run this program. I was one of the early ones who had the good fortune of joining it. But at that point in time, today I'm saying good fortune, but at that point in time, it was seen as Kalabani, because operations was supposed to be the place where you want to be. That is where people would go. तो ऑपरेशन से निकाल के अगर आपको एक ऐसे कोने में डाल दिया जाए जिसको इम्प्रूवमेंट प्रोग्राम बोला जाए, तो उस पॉइंट इन टाइम पे was not a very happy situation, and it was, you never knew what is going to come out of it. So, and then, with these 15 odd facilitators and the McKinsey youngsters, उनमें से कोई स्टील मेकर नहीं था McKinsey, सब management consultants. Then we would pick up unit leaders. अगर हम सिंटर प्लांट जा रहे हैं तो सिंटर प्लांट के जो बेस्ट ऑपरेटर होंगे और मेंटेनेंस के लोग होंगे, उनको निकाल के एक ऑपरेशन का यूनिट और एक सर्विसेज का यूनिट, मेंटेनेंस का यूनिट बनाते थे. एंड फॉर 3 months we would run the top program in sinter plant. ऐसे we picked up in waves, in various waves. 3 month का एक वेव होता था. We ran some for 2 years. We ran some 10 or 12 waves. We ran, and subsequently we did a retop on those units. So 4 साल ये intense program चला. I had the good fortune of leading that program, which was a huge mindset change program as well. But as I said, the challenges were there was a huge resistance to change. One of the basic premises of TOP was that the ideas which are available at the grassroots sometimes do not reach the top management, because the middle management has a vested control of all the ideas, and they take their time to reach up, and therefore the improvement journey becomes slower. So this was just one of the premises, and the top was required to cut through the bureaucracy. Tata Steel had a huge bureaucracy. There's no denying that. The second premise was that if you give people stretch enough a target, then there is motivation and incentive to improve. And the third premise was that if you reward good performance, then you can multiply that effect across the organization. So the way stretch targets were taken was, we would look to benchmark our performance, departmental or unit performance, with the best in the world. And targets were taken to meet the best in the world. And I'm not joking here. On throughput, on cost, on quality. If benchmark was not available, previous best of the organization. If that was not available, the entire cost was supposed to be compressive, and you had to take 40% as the compressed, that you can compress that entire cost by 40%. अब मेंटेनेंस को आप 40% कम करने की सोच भी नहीं सकते. But there we were encouraged to take such targets. Second wave में हमने मेंटेनेंस को 20% टारगेट्स में लिया. बट इनिशियली वो 3 महीने का जो टारगेट होता है टू गो थ्रू दैट वेव, the teams, the unit leaders and the facilitator, they go through this hockey stick effect. The initial period you get highly demoralized. How will you reach there? And then you start talking to people, you start doing brainstorming with various workers, various ground level teams. You talk to people in your, you read, libraries जाते हैं लोग, पढ़ते हैं, and you meet your competitors as well to get ideas how to meet that gap which was required to be met. And by the end of the first month, beginning second month, you start getting to see light at the end of the tunnel. And by the end of the 3 months, there's a presentation that you need to do as a unit leader to the managing director and the vice president in charge, with the departmental head also sitting in that forum. There used to be a huge committee in front of whom this presentation needs to be made. These unit leaders used to be young officers who did not even know how to make a presentation, or had never made a presentation in front of such senior people. Part of the job which one had was to train these guys to how to make presentations as well. So that was a big change management program, something Tata Steel has had many. TOP was just one of them, but TOP is still remembered as one of the best and the most impactful program, which has held it in great stead for the last 20-25 odd years. Having got the the good fortune of leading that program for a long time, I learned a lot myself about the entire company, and that helped me in my subsequent movements also. One of the movements which I got was the town division of Tata Steel, which was very soon I was asked to convert it into a separate legal entity, a separate company. This was sometimes in 2004-5. And there was 75 years of industrial harmony in Tata Steel till that time. 2003, when JUSCO was propounded and the company was formed, some 1,300 people from the town division were sent to JUSCO, this new company. And they were out on the streets. A huge rally ensued. And it became very difficult at that point in time to explain to all of them, those 1,300 people, that guys, you've not been separated out of Tata Steel. You have been provided wings to fly. Today you provide service only to Jamshedpur. Tomorrow you'll be able to provide service to the entire country and even abroad. So this, personally for me, I had to look at the fear of unknown of all the employees, the loss of status. Just like the engineering division of Tata Steel felt that they made the steel company, the town division of Tata Steel felt that they made the first planned city of India, Jamshedpur. And they would strut around the town as if it was their town. And to be told that you have been asked to move out of Tata Steel into a subsidiary company, they felt it like a loss of status. And for me, it became very important to communicate. As a managing director, I was the first managing director of that company. I met these 1,300 people in group of 20-25 and had umpteen discussions. Small group for maybe 1 or 2 months. I met these people. Ek din mein 4-5 meetings, the same discussion over and over again, to explain to them that this is not something which is against their interest. They will not lose anything, but they have everything to gain from it. And gradually, I got the buy-in of all of them. And today, Tata Steel, JUSCO, is now called Tata Steel Utilities and Infrastructure Company Limited. It has become the leading services company for Group Tata Steel. Has won many concessions, both in power as well as water sector. Won unsolicited awards across the globe for the utilities of water, utility of power. Also got an award from the President of India as one of the best customer responsive municipalities of the country. So that was another great experience that one had, which was JUSCO. Tata Metallics is something. This is a company which is one of the few organizations in India which got impacted by the 2008 economic meltdown that happened globally. Tata Steel lost its entire net worth during that period because because of certain wrong decisions that it took. Calling it wrong is in hindsight, but it took certain decisions. In one go, on 8th of October is when Lehman Brothers happened. Tata Metallics also lost all its entire net worth in a day or two. And for the next 5 or 6 years, it was almost a BIFR case. Tata Steel had decided that we either hive off this company, and we have even chosen a suitor for it, Saint-Gobain, and discussions had begun. The second thought was we merge it back into Tata Steel. And the third was turn it around. But 6 साल में कोई तो turn around नहीं कर पाया था. I was sent to Tata Metallics, which is another story. But I was sent with this mandate. Turn it around, merge it back to Tata Steel, or hive it off. And hive off के लिए dialogue शुरू था Saint-Gobain के साथ. Merge के लिए भी plan चालू था. In fact, the merging, Tata Metallics is a listed company. 52%, 48-49% of the company is widely held. The share price at that time was 33 rupees. Tata Steel was 235. and the consultant had given us a merging swap ratio of 1:7.4. 1 share of Tata Steel, 7.4 shares of Tata Metallics. We had the good fortune of changing the company around in the first 9 months. मार्च 2013 में मैं अप्रैल 1 2013 को उधर पहुंचा था. By the end of December 2013, we had made cash profit. And by the end of the fourth quarter, which was the January-March 2014 quarter, we had made book profit as well. So the company turned from 6 years of red to the first year of black was 2014. What is it that one did? The company, because it had been making losses all around, a lot of good people had left. There were plenty of guys who were not in the right places. You'll notice here written square pegs in round holes. Guys who were not suited for those roles. We are technically, Tata Metallics makes ductile iron pipes. It's a highly technical, and these are continuously cast pipes. Some of you who are technical metallurgists here would know that this is a very technical subject. But an engineering guy was managing that part of the company. So again, communicate, tell what is required to be done, and do whatever with full transparency and honesty, and everything had to be told. I had the good fortune of also coming across a maverick, a metallurgist from Roorkee. I will take his name because somebody I'm very, very proud of, SP Sharma, one of the best metallurgists that I've come across, who had worked in various ductile iron companies in the country, but was a maverick, as I told you, was a bit temperamental, had to be handled with care. He helped me turn around that company technically. Because it was not just human relations, it was not just other measures that were required. This was a technical job, and you required to do it through science, through metallurgy, reduce costs through that. The yield, which was of ductile iron pipe, which was 72%, and a Japanese Kubota, were our joint venture partners, 50% joint venture partners, who were making ductile iron pipe there. They were giving us a yield of 72%. In 2 years, we brought that yield up to 103%. People would joke, 100% से ज्यादा कैसे हो गया? तो ductile iron pipe actually by length बिकती है, और 3 पैरामीटर होते हैं, एक लेंथ, एक नॉमिनल थिकनेस, एक मिनिमम थिकनेस, and tensile strength. These are the 3 parameters on which ductile iron pipe sells. So to get the required strength, people would make very thick pipes. The minimum thickness दिया हुआ था, maximum thickness नहीं है. So you have to give this much strength. People would make very thick pipes. We found ways of providing the best strength, tensile strength in the industry, with thicknesses less than the nominal thickness, just above the minimum thickness required. So our pipes used to be very thin, and yields would be carried based on weight. The weight would be on length multiplied by nominal diameter. हमारा nominal diameter से भी कम diameter होता था. So that would give us weight gain. So for a long time, it was very difficult for me to explain to my board itself that I am not fudging data. There is a mechanism by which you get some credit based on weight, because I am producing pipes which are thinner than the nominal thickness. My competition, again, many of you will know who the competition on this is, would tell my customers कि इन लोगों का टाटा मेटालिक्स का पाइप बहुत पतला टूट जाएगा. And I had to go at various places to show 4 कंपटीशन का पाइप हम लोग एक डिस्टेंस से ऊपर से नीचे फेंकता था, जिसका टूटा सर आप वो पाइप मत लीजिए, कभी टाटा मेटालिक्स का पाइप नहीं टूटा. So that it had that kind of strength. So various things we did to convince the customers, to convince our own employees, and our share price in 4 years moved from 33 to 800 rupees. I didn't have a single share. मेरे को फाइनेंशियल कोई फायदा नहीं हुआ, बट आई हैड द सेटिस्फैक्शन ऑफ टर्निंग अराउंड दैट कंपनी एंड द merger was called off. The sale, I still meet the St. Gobain's guy who had declined. अगर ये काम इन लोगों ने दिसंबर से पहले कर लिया होता, दिसंबर 2013 से पहले, बट दे केप्ट ऑन डिस्कसिंग, वो 33 रुपए और 40 रुपए, टाटा स्टील वाज आस्किंग 40 एंड सेंट गोबेन वाज सेइंग नहीं 33 अभी है, 33 में ही मिलेंगे. Fortunately, the twin didn't meet, but then we had made the profit and that deal was also called off. I still meet those guys at times and I say, what a big mistake you made. 40 रुपए दे देते. So that is the kind of turnaround that happened on Tata Metallics. Safety, health and sustainability, I will not talk of too much because I will be talking about this subsequently. So I've spoken about the challenges and opportunities and I've touched the two subjects that Sanjay wanted me to talk about. I wanted to personally talk about the culture of safety, the integration of safety into core business practices. And I've taken more than half of my time already. Let me begin with a safety pause. Tata Steel में हम लोग जब भी कभी कोई मीटिंग करते हैं तो सबसे पहले एक सेफ्टी पॉज लेते हैं. ये मैंने नहीं शुरू किया आज क्योंकि with you guys it would have been sudden and the flow would have been much different. But let me start with the safety pause now.
I'm the sous chef here. With any luck, I should be head chef by next year. I've got this amazing fiance who I won't be marrying this weekend because I'm about to be in a terrible accident. But really, I should have cleaned up the grease over there, and they should never put the deep fryer so close.
Somebody help me! I'm working overtime because I want to take my family on a nice vacation. Soon they get a call telling them I was killed in an accident. But hey, I'm wearing a busted harness here. And the company should have checked those tanks. It's been an accident! Run, get some help! Switch your standard! Call it out! Hey, Jim! You take care of that skid? Yeah! Oh, 311! We got an accident here!
This was no accident. The company knows it's against code to store that much weight up there. I knew I should have been focused on what I was doing. And it's obvious the supervisor didn't report that broken shelf.
So a safety pause is an event which any of the people in the meeting would talk about, unsafe event that they have come across in their work area, or an excellent safety event that they have come across in their work area, and that would be the first thing that would be discussed before any meeting happened, be it cost, be it throughput, be it quality. Any meeting that happened, a safety pause would surely happen. Accidents like what we just saw, and there are many more that keep happening in the steel industry for a long time. And globally, the safety performance of world steel has been something which is shown here in your screens here. The LTIFR, which is a lost time injury frequency rate, it has been coming down and has plateaued for quite some time. The data is till 2020, but even if you took it any further, the data you would see as plateaued. The fatalities, we have continued to be killing, I would use that word, 80 to 85 of our employees almost on an yearly basis across the world. And the Chinese data is not as yet very well put in here. And the reasons for these accidents, fatal accidents, have been what I've shown on the right. But the top 3 or 4 reasons have been these: process safety. We'll discuss about process safety. And then fall from height, mining machinery, on-site raid and roll. The top 4 or 5 reasons keep moving up and down. but the top reason always has been process safety. So World Steel, when an organization joins World Steel, it signs a commitment. It basically says that nothing is more important than the safety and health of the people who work in the steel industry. And the commitment that they sign is that the industry is committed to maintaining a safe and healthy workplace and acting on safety and health incidents, risks, and opportunities. We consider safety and health to be an integral component of doing business, and it starts with each one of our people. So this is the commitment even sales CMD would have signed when you joined WSA. In 2006, they espoused 6 safety and health principles. And I would like to read them out for the benefit of all of you, because these are the 6 principles that are part of the holy grail that we in the steel industry take. Very important for all of us. All injuries and work-related illness can and must be prevented. This is the safety and health principle number 1. Easier said than done. हम लोग यहाँ बैठ के ये बात बोल सकते हैं, लेकिन जब when we are in the steel plant, managing an operation or a maintenance activity, a small accident happens, ये तो हो सकता है, ये तो इतना तो condone होना चाहिए. But the fact remains, all injuries and work-related illness can and must be prevented. Who's responsible? Principle 2, managers are responsible and accountable for safety and health performance. It is not contractors, it is not workers. The first responsibility of the guy who's managing that work area. Employee engagement and training is essential. Unless this happens, nobody will be able to do their work properly. And if that happens, not only will they do work safely, they will do their work with quality. First. Everything will improve. Productivity will improve, which will be an offshoot of a good, safe behavior. Working safely is a condition of employment. Okay, so this is a condition of employment. You cannot put in a worker in a position of work which is unsafe. 5, excellence in safety and health drives excellence in business results. I just said as part of 3. 6, safety and health must be integrated into all business management processes, which is what Sanjay asked me to talk about. And this has to be part of the safety culture and leadership. 4 key safety and health focus areas. Process safety management, something that I'll talk about, where you have loss of containment of hazardous material and the events that result or hazardous occurrences that result are all process management kind of occurrences. Occupational health management, which is where we look at ergonomics, regular safety health checkups, where we look at occupational hygiene. These are part of occupational health management. Occupational safety management, where we look at things like slip, trip, fall, press cut, fall from height, mining machinery. These are things which come under safety, occupational safety management. And finally, safety culture and leadership, which cuts across all these things. And unless you have a proper safety culture and leadership in the organization, you can keep creating all kinds of strategies. They won't work out. As Peter Drucker said, safety eats strategy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Safety culture and leadership. What is safety culture? This is coming straight from WSA. And I think all of you who have been part of WSA and attended the safety and health committee, it's one of the best committees that they have, most knowledgeable, and I have learned plenty from there. The safety culture of an organization is the product of individual and group values, attitudes and competencies, and patterns of behavior that determine how people and systems act and respond in relation to risks and opportunities. Safety culture and leadership evolve gradually over time as people go through various changes, adapt to environmental conditions, and solve problems. To attain this level of safety culture, significant commitment and a drive towards continuous improvement is required. I have listed this down. मैं बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं लिखता हूँ अपनी slides के अंदर, but I felt that this is very important. And without understanding of all of this, you cannot actually move towards the proper safety culture. Because safety culture and leadership evolves gradually. हम लोगों ने ये जर्नी 2005 में शुरू की थी जब हम कोरस लेना शुरू किया, and we realized that we were so unsafe. And over a period of time, ये 20 साल से अब जर्नी चल रही है, we feel that we have moved forward. But can you measure that evolution, this gradual evolution? So there is a way to measure safety culture.
Welcome to today's exploration about the correlation between safety in the workplace and corporate culture in light of an indisputably pioneering study by...
Let's keep it simple. Today's topic is safety in the workplace and how our own corporate culture can impact on the safety and well-being of employees. The Bradley Curve offers us a simple model. The Bradley Curve describes the relationship between corporate culture and safety in the workplace. A company with a high number of accidents is here at the start. Only through observation, training and motivation can the various stages of the corporate culture develop with accident numbers that fall accordingly. There are a total of 4 of these stages, and I'm now going to show you in detail how they differ. Let's start with stage 1. Safety in the workplace based on natural instincts. In this stage, managers and employees accept the risk of accident as a natural occurrence that cannot be controlled, and there is no will to control it either. Accidents will happen sometimes. Ultimately, we're dealing with adults, and it's not possible to tell them exactly what to do. Sound human reasoning will provide the degree of safety needed, is the primitive view. Specialists in occupational safety are mainly regarded as annoying in such environments and are rarely taken seriously. In this type of corporate culture, the potential for accidents is extremely high. The slogan, "Zero accidents," is interpreted as an illusion. Stage 2. Safety in the workplace through control and monitoring. Companies at this stage take safety in the workplace seriously and want to avoid accidents at work as much as possible. As a result, managers are also obliged to track accident frequency rates as a specific goal. To achieve this, managers in stage 2 use rules and sanctions combined with a strict monitoring system. This corporate culture uses enforcement and the fear of punishment to avoid accidents. This type of corporate culture has a lot in common with strict parenting, since if nobody's watching, the rules will be simply ignored. Accidents are therefore just waiting to happen, and zero accidents remain a utopian idea. Stage 3. Safety in the workplace as a belief. Companies in stage 3 set themselves the goal of zero accidents. To achieve this, however, they do not use the threat of enforcement and fear. Instead, they encourage every employee to want to protect themselves. Measures and standards for safety in the workplace are drawn up together. Specialists in occupational safety are always involved and are regarded as a support and contributor to individual safety. The basic mindset is therefore, if everyone protects themselves, everyone is protected. The motivation to want to actively and preventively protect oneself ensures an exceptionally low accident rate. But it gets better. Stage 4. Safety in the workplace as teamwork. The highest stage of development is reached by companies who oblige themselves to keep the accident rate uncompromisingly at 0. Zero accidents for them is a choice. A single accident in the workplace is regarded as evidence of incapacity on the part of management and perceived as such by the team. To avoid any incidents at all, in addition to extensive rules and regulations, everyone adheres to a system of conscious mutual consideration. The motivation to look after not just yourself, but also your team members reduces the risk of accidents to 0. This modern principle doesn't just apply to workers. Managers also see themselves as personally obliged to never put profit or productivity before the safety of employees. The well-being of employees is regarded as the ultimate goal. Sources of danger are consistently recognized and eliminated before accidents can happen. In accordance with the Bradley Curve, the highest level of corporate culture with the lowest risk of accidents is associated with an inner belief encouraging mutual respect, constant consideration of others, motivation, and team spirit. Those were the 4 stages of the Bradley curve. So where are you? Yes, you. What's your personal motto when it comes to safety in the workplace? Are your natural instincts enough to help you avoid accidents? Then you're at stage 1. Or do you understand safety in the workplace as a system of rules and monitoring? Then you're still at stage 2. Or are you someone for whom safety in the workplace is a matter of inner belief? Congratulations, you're already at stage 3. Or do you practice safety in the workplace, not just out of a belief for yourself, but also for your colleagues? That would be stage 4. Then you are a true driving force behind modern safety and well-being in the workplace.
So this is the Bradley curve. Stage 1 is called the reactive stage, which has been explained, safety by natural instinct. This is the time when people think that they follow rules because they have to. They have no choice. The second stage is the dependent stage, where you require supervision. Management is committed, but safety happens because of fear and discipline, rules and procedures, and the supervisor control. It is the third phase where you start looking at and you follow the rules because you want to. You are now independent, where your personal knowledge and commitment of safety standards is what you feel is important. You have internalized it. It becomes not just a number, it becomes part of your personal value system. It's care for self, practice and habits. It becomes part of your practice and habits. And you get individual recognition for what you are doing in terms of safety. It is stage 4 where you move beyond independent, you become interdependent, and you look to help others, being others keeper, network contributor, not just for yourself, and looking to improve safety because you want your organization to be seen as one. So if I look at each of your organization, where do you think you stand on the Bradley curve? As the vice president safety, one of the first things that I did was I got every department to measure itself on where it stood. And unless you do a very honest evaluation of your own standing, I don't think there will be any desire or motivation to improve from there. So this is something that we used to start with. And then there is plenty further, which I would have loved to go through. But I don't think we have time in this forum today to move any further. But I would be happy to help you out with your journey if you're looking to improve your safety performance. So this is it from me, Rajesh and Atanu and Sanjay. I still have left some 5 odd minutes or 2 minutes just. Are there any questions?
Sir, first of all, sir, frankly speaking, sir, I would have also personally loved to continue because the best part was just coming, sir. I personally felt, but that also leaves for us कि we also look forward कि आपसे जब अगली बार मिले तो और अच्छे से सुने. But now, sir, it's time for the audience if they want to directly ask, sir, engage with us, sir. Any questions from the audience? If you want, you can also give it in the chat box also. Hello. Someone posted a question on me, sir. Can I read it, sir?
Yeah, please.
It's long, sir. Okay, sir. SAIL is also going for its cultural transformation by engaging safety consultant. So, what do you suggest from your Tata Steel journey to us?
See, to me, safety is a value, and value and culture are something which come from the top. You cannot outsource this. A consultant can help you technically. and you require a consultant to begin with for all the technical support. Safety is not just occupational safety. Safety is also process safety. It's a highly technical subject. And for example, what we do in Tata Steel, we bring in one of the best operational guys to come and lead the safety department. Okay, so I was not a safety guy, as I was managing director of Tata Metallics when I was asked to come in and lead the safety team here. I got health and sustainability and a business as well, but safety was my first responsibility. So surely a consultant will help you, but you also need leadership commitment. And as I said, the higher the leader, the bigger the lens. Commitment shows. अगर आप खाली बोल रहे हैं और कमिटेड नहीं है तो पता चल जाता है. Rajesh, you started with telling me the belt story. You know how our drivers got involved? Because our managing director, Mr. TV Narendran, in 2010-11, he was the vice president safety and flat products. And I recall, I was also vice president at that time. I was vice president corporate services, Delhi mein tha. And we were going together to one of the minister's offices. We sat together in the car, पीछे बैठे उसने बेल्ट लगाई. 2010 की बात है, आज 2015 साल हो गए इस बात को. मैंने बेल्ट नहीं पहनी तो गाड़ी नहीं चलने दी उसने. तो संजीव बेल्ट पहन. मैंने पीछे जरूरत नहीं होती, मैं दिल्ली से ही था. कहता नहीं मेरे साथ बैठा तू बेल्ट पहन और आगे से हमेशा पीछे बेल्ट पहनेगा. वो दिन था और आज का दिन है. सिर्फ मैं ही नहीं, मेरी पूरी फैमिली भी पहनती है. So this commitment, I could see it in the eyes of that leader who was looking after safety. Then he explained to me, Sanjeev, 30 की स्पीड बहुत है आपकी नेक की हड्डी तोड़ने के लिए. झटके से अगर एक्सीडेंट में रुकती है, 30 किलोमीटर की स्पीड बहुत है वो तोड़ने के लिए. आप आगे बैठे हो या पीछे बैठे हो. और देयर आर एक्सीडेंट्स दैट हैव हैपेंड जो 30 की स्पीड में भी लोग मरे हैं. तो बेल्ट हमेशा पहननी चाहिए पीछे. बट दिस हैज टू कम फ्रॉम वॉकिंग द टॉक by the leaders, and the leaders have to show that way. आज 15 साल हो गए हैं, आप टाटा स्टील में चले जाओ. बेल्ट तो एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल है. वो रेलिंग से उतरता है, जब रेलिंग सीढ़ियों पर चढ़ता है, हाथ पकड़े 3 पॉइंट कॉन्टैक्ट. और हमारे देश के नेता हैं, वो हवाई जहाज से बिना रेलिंग पकड़े उतरते हैं, उसको बहादुरी समझते हैं. बट दैट्स नॉट सेफ बिहेवियर. Safe behavior is when you hold the railing. So these are things. Leadership is important. Whoever has asked the question, let me just say, consultant, knowledge, everything is fine. But leadership commitment का कोई भी alternate नहीं है. It begins with there.
Good evening. I would like to ask one question.
Ma'am,
Good
please.
evening.
Yeah, actually, I'm heading safety at Rourkela Steel Plant. The main problem what I am facing is the changing the behavior of the contract laborers. That's one issue which, can you suggest something to how this change can come in these, the people who are exposed to the hazards?
Asha ji, one of the things that we did, and it took us again a very long time, we brought in a standard on contractor safety management. One of the key aspects of that standard was that we started giving a safety rating to all our contractors. That safety rating also went through the process of giving a rating was a process. What all does a contractor have in terms of his processes? And this process would get audited by a third party. And based on the parameters that we had put in, and there were many of them, some 15 or 20 parameters, the rating would give him a star rating from 1 to 5. And we gave ourselves 1.5 years, 18 months to ensure that all our contractors moved to a minimum star rating of 3. So unless you had a 3-star rating, you will not be my contractor in a hazardous areas. I identified all the hazardous areas and I said, in these hazardous areas, no contractor will function who has a rating of less than 3. And a contractor who had a rating of 4, if he bid during bidding, if he bid not as L1, a rating of 4 would get an opportunity to match the L1 cost.
Wow.
And if the guy became a star rating 5, even at a rating of even if he has not bid L1, he would be given more than L1 to do the job. So his share of business would increase. So there was a motivation amongst contractors to improve their safety performance, and the safety performance would include the worker safety dresses, the PPE, the behavior, the timely coming and going, and there were some 20 odd different parameters that were monitored there. So it is a long journey, Ashaji. Things don't change immediately, but you have to start the grind somewhere, and then you have to find a way of staying the course. In Tata Steel, one has had the good fortune. मैं 7 साल सेफ्टी दे रहा हूं, 2017 से 2023 तक 6 साल. 6 years is a good, long enough time to maintain continuity and take it to a particular step. And you bring it to a stage where the next guy will only take it further. मेरे से पहले वाले जो थे वो भी एक लेवल तक छोड़ के गए थे, उसके बाद आप उससे नीचे नहीं आने दे सकते. You have to take it only further. So this is a relay race, and you have to run accordingly.
Right now, we are in the stage of implementing this contractor safety, but there is a lot of resistance from the contractors. That's the main issue.
Resistance आएगा, इसीलिए leadership का role है. Resistance आएगा, your leader has to stay firm.
Yes.
I'll tell you, there were times when I had to postpone my shutdowns because star rating 3 का contractor नहीं मिलता था. We had to forego or sacrifice on production because star rating 3 का contractor नहीं मिल पाया. The leadership took that beating. वो hockey stick curve जो है ना, the hockey stick curve में initially there will be a dip in performance, and it is only subsequently when you stay the course that the performance will improve. But वो initial sacrifice करना पड़ता है.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Sir, Namaskar. I'm Sunil Singhal from ISCO Steel Plant. I'm looking after safety here, safety, fire and environment.
Okay.
Sir, since you have a long experience in safety, for 5-6 years you have heading that safety portfolio. Sir, I'm having a very general kind of query. Like, sir, for bringing the safety culture, the transformation of safety culture, counseling would be more beneficial or aggressive monitoring and penalizing will be more beneficial?
Singhal साहब, कोई one trick pony में game नहीं होगा. You have to do many things. Counseling is surely important because it is your team, and you have to up the game of your own team. कर तो वो भी सकते हैं. यही लोग हैं ना जो दुबई में और सिंगापुर में जाके थूकते नहीं है सड़क पे, लेकिन हिंदुस्तान में थूकते हैं.
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल. इसीलिए सर यहाँ पे जो हमारा जो एक्सपीरियंस रहा है, बिकॉज आई एम लुकिंग आफ्टर सेफ्टी फॉर द लास्ट 2 years हियर, जब तक वी वर इन द काउंसलिंग मोड, हमारा इंसिडेंट रेट कम नहीं हो रहा था. एंड द मोमेंट वी स्टार्टेड पेनलाइजिंग द पर्संस, ग्रेजुअली वो कम हो रहा है.
सो सिंगल साहब, मैं आपको एक चीज बताता हूँ. हमने बहुत टेक्नोलॉजी यूज किया, सीसीटीवी यूज किया और एआई यूज किया सीसीटीवी के ऊपर, क्योंकि मेरे एक बॉस थे, वो पुलिस में थे, तो उनका he was an IPS officer. One of the things that he told me, and मैंने उसको मान लिया, उन्होंने बोला, संजीव, it is not the severity of punishment which changes behavior. It is the surety of punishment which changes behavior. अगर severity of punishment change कर रही होती behavior, तो ये रेप वेप सब बंद हो जाने चाहिए थे ना हिंदुस्तान में. मर्डर बंद हो जाने चाहिए थे. आपको तो उसमें तो अल्टीमेट कैपिटल पनिशमेंट है. बट सब लोग अभी भी ये इसलिए करते हैं क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि मैं बच जाऊंगा. श्योरिटी ऑफ पनिशमेंट जो है, तो हम लोगों ने कैमरेज लगाना शुरू किए जगह जगह एआई के साथ में. अगर आप पीपीई के बिना हो तो आप पकड़े ही जाओगे द मिनट यू एंटर दी कंपनी. और जहां जहां इंपॉर्टेंट फंक्शंस हो रहे हैं AI की मदद से, so you brought in a lot of, we spent a lot on safety, Singhal sir.
Sure.
As vice president safety, I had a huge budget. I had unlimited budget. मेरे लिए मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर का वो खुला रहता था. Anything that one wanted, CCTVs डाले हमने, AI डाला, brought in a lot of changes. And sure enough, if you stay the course, धीरे धीरे ये changes आते हैं. आपको दोनों चीज करनी पड़ेगी, काउंसलिंग भी, मॉनिटरिंग भी, और पनिशमेंट भी.
So,
Thanks, sir.
any last question? We just have the time for the last
मैं
question.
लास्ट एक चीज बोलना भूल गया.
Sir, please.
मैं पनिशमेंट पे रुका, मैं रिवॉर्ड की बात नहीं किया. One of the most important things that one started in the last 3 years, and it has now become a huge movement, is rewarding the presence of safety, right, rather than punishing the absence of it only. But to reward the presence of safety का मतलब है वहां पे तो इवेंट नहीं हो रहा है, तो आप रिवॉर्ड कैसे करोगे, कैसे पता लगेगा एज सीनियर लीडरशिप? उसके लिए मॉनिटरिंग, उसके लिए लीडर हैज टू बी ग्राउंडेड एंड हैज टू बी वेरी क्लोज इन कॉन्टैक्ट विद द ग्राउंड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि कहां सेफ अकरेंसेस हो रही हैं बिकॉज ऑफ लीडरशिप बिहेवियर, बिकॉज ऑफ एम्प्लॉय बिहेवियर. और उसमें आपको सही आदमी को रिवॉर्ड करना है. लेट मी ऑल्सो टेल यू, 2 किस्म की गलतियां हो सकती है जब आप रिवॉर्ड करते हो. एक होती है टाइप 1 मिस्टेक. एक आदमी को प्रपोज किया गया रिवॉर्ड के लिए, यू आर नॉट टू श्योर, आप रिवॉर्ड नहीं देते हो, बट बाद में पता लगता है वो तो आदमी ठीक था, he was worthwhile, he should have got the reward. So this is a type 1 mistake. You rewarded a guy who should have been, you did not reward a guy who should have been rewarded. Deserving candidate को छोड़ दिया आपने. Type 1 mistake. जो कल्चर चेंज करने की होता है ना ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, तो बोलते हैं टाइप 1 मिस्टेक चलेगा, नेवर कमिट अ टाइप 2 मिस्टेक. टाइप 2 मिस्टेक क्या है? कोई बंदा आपके पास प्रपोज किया गया रिवॉर्डिंग के लिए, यू आर नॉट श्योर, आप रिवॉर्ड कर देते हो, बट बाद में पता लगता है ये डिजर्विंग कैंडिडेट नहीं था. द मैसेज यू आर गिविंग इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज कि काम नहीं भी करने वाला आदमी को रिवॉर्ड मिल सकता है, सब चलता है. टाइप 2 एरर कभी मत करो. जब भी कभी डाउट हो, होल्ड. और वो डाउट को क्लियर करने के लिए अपने सिस्टम्स इतने रिगरस बनाओ कि आपको हमेशा पता लगे, आपकी श्योरिटी हो कि आप सही आदमी को रिवॉर्ड कर रहे हो. उसके लिए लीडरशिप को बहुत ज्यादा एंगेज होना पड़ेगा, बहुत ज्यादा इन्वॉल्व होना पड़ेगा. सॉरी, थोड़ा लॉन्गिश आंसर.
नहीं सर, we would like to hear, sir. Any questions on the mic or we have in chat?
गुड इवनिंग सर, मैं विपिन
Good
सरता
evening.
बोल रहा हूँ बोकारो से.
सॉरी,
सर विपिन सरता पे बोल रहा हूँ बोकारो से. सर ये आपके प्लांट में सर ये हेवी व्हीकल्स जो है उसका मूवमेंट के लिए मतलब हाउ यू आर मैनेजिंग दोज रिस्ट्रिक्शंस?
हम लोगों ने काफी स्टेप्स लिए थे उसके ऊपर, बिकॉज हैवी व्हीकल्स के साथ एक्सीडेंट्स स्पेशली साइकिल के साथ बहुत होने लगे थे. तो हमने 2-3 चीजें की. एक तो साइकिल्स की एंट्री, 2 व्हीलर्स की एंट्री ही बंद कर दी. अंदर अब जो लोग आते हैं वो 4 व्हीलर से आते हैं या फिर बसेस लगा दी लोगों के लिए, बसेस से करते हैं. सो जो छोटा व्हीकल है वो बैन कर दिया. फिर जो बहुत हैवी व्हीकल है, डंपर्स वगैरह, उसको हम लोगों ने शिफ्ट चेंज टाइम पे बंद कर दिया. आधा घंटा इधर और आधा घंटा उधर, जनरल शिफ्ट आवर्स के साथ भी. आधा घंटा इधर आधा घंटा, बड़ी गाड़ियों को बंद कर दिया. तो जितने हमारे लेगेसी प्लांट्स थे उनमें सबसे ज्यादा कष्ट हुआ ये काम करने में, जमशेदपुर जैसी जगहों पे. बाकी जितनी जगह हम लोगों ने और लिए, कलिंगा नगर नया बनाया, शुरू से ये कानून लगा दिया. ओडिशा में जो 2 प्लांट बनाए वहां पे शुरू में कानून लगा दिया. जमशेदपुर में हमको सबसे ज्यादा टाइम लगा यूनियंस को समझाने में. बट अल्टीमेटली चेंज मैनेजमेंट इज दैट you have to stay persistent, make sure that you mean business, and then everybody comes around your way of thinking.
Thank you sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I have a question in the chat box. I will just read it, sir. 2 questions. So one is about contractual workers. You probably have, sir, answered it. How unskilled contractual workers can be trained in minimum time for steel operation activity, and what kind of training is given to the lowest level of unskilled workers in Tata? And second, sir, I would just
ये वाला आंसर तो राजेश तुम भी दे सकते हो, तुमने वो देखा सेंटर हमारा.
yes, sir, yes, sir. Sir. So Tata Steel has got a very good setup, sir. आज जैसा आपने बताया contractor safety का भी, और you also have the training in collaboration with the outside agencies also, sir. So last question, sir, is a good question, unique question, sir. A person from the mines, sir, he is asking that I'm from mines and I'm trying to follow all
So
the.
Rajesh, before you finish that, वो contractor के लिए, see, unless a guy is trained, he cannot be part of a 3-star rated contractor. जब तक उसको पूरी ट्रेनिंग नहीं दी गई है और हम में से किसी ने, हमारे सेफ्टी इंचार्जेस ने उसको सर्टिफाई नहीं किया है, तब तक तो फिर वो 3-स्टार कॉन्ट्रैक्टर नहीं है, और 3-स्टार कॉन्ट्रैक्टर के पास काम भी नहीं कर सकता वो लड़का. तो उसको ट्रेनिंग इनिशियली बहुत जरूरी है. तो हम लोग जब भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट शुरू करते हैं, थोड़ा ब्यूरोक्रेटिक हो गया हमारा सिस्टम, क्योंकि ट्रेनिंग करनी पड़ती है, थोड़ा टाइम लगता है आपको कोई काम शुरू करने से पहले. अगर आप कोई शटडाउन प्लान कर रहे हो तो आपको 6 महीना पहले कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स लाइन अप करने पड़ते हैं, क्योंकि 1.5-2 महीना तो ट्रेनिंग में लग जाता है. और फिर वो लोगों को रुकना है, क्योंकि लोग ट्रेनिंग करके, बहुत सारा ये ट्रेनिंग स्कूल बन गया था, यहां ट्रेनिंग करके छोड़ देते थे. देन यू हैव टू गिव हिम मोटिवेशन इनफ टू स्टे. तो उसकी सैलरी भी अच्छी होनी चाहिए. ये 3-स्टार रेटिंग वाला जो कॉन्सेप्ट है ना, ये बहुत काम आता है इसमें. सॉरी, नेक्स्ट माइनिंग वाला कुछ.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Question is, we are trying in mines. We are trying to follow all the safety norms as provided by DGMS. So please advise for safety culture in mining, sir.
See, rules and laws and systems कागज पे, हमारे पास DGMS तो बहुत सालों से है. हमारी भी मूवमेंट जब ये शुरू हुई, जर्नी ऑफ सेफ्टी एक्सेलेंस, तो DGMS तो उस टाइम भी था. कल्चर मैंने जैसे बताया, ये एक सेंसिटाइजेशन से शुरू होता है और लीडर को वॉक द टॉक करना पड़ता है. और बहुत से लीडर हमने भी देखे हैं कि जब साहब लोग रहेगा तो बड़ी बड़ी बात बोलेंगे, यहां साहब हटे तो करना वही है जो करना है. तो ये बात धीरे धीरे, देर है अंधेर नहीं वाला सिस्टम होता है ना, पता लग ही जाता है. तो जब आपको पता लग जाता है एज लीडर, यू हैव टू मेक श्योर that those guys do not remain as leaders in the mining areas. हमारे माइनिंग में इतने एक्सीडेंट्स होते थे और फेटल एक्सीडेंट्स होते थे. टचवुड, द सीन इज वेरी डिफरेंट नाउ. हमने माइनें बंद की हैं. कितनी माइनें बंद की हैं क्योंकि वो अब अनसेफ हो गई थी. शायद DGMS हमको परमिट कर देता चलाने के लिए. So, and which is at a huge cost. So, company bore a huge cost for it. That is what leadership is. You have to take the big decisions. You cannot push them down. नीचे आप पुश करेंगे तो then you cannot expect a safe performance.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, may I now request Sanjay Dar, sir? Please, sir, if you can, sir, give the summarization of and also, sir, for the vote of thanks.
At the outset, I'd like to thank Paul Saab. I understand we have been greedy and compressed, say, 4 hours into one. But I'd also like to clarify to Paul Saab my reason for expanding the scope beyond just the safety part, because safety is top of the mind for us, and we do need to start looking for more and more solutions to the challenges that we are facing. And we understand, we will discuss this in detail with you. But what I also wanted to actually explore was, from your in-depth experience, the larger picture of what it means to be a leader. And safety is one aspect of managing as a leader. Very important aspect. But at your core, what are you being that will help you to drive initiatives like a safety culture transformation? And that's why I wanted a larger context from which to start. And the other thing I wanted to appreciate, what my people to appreciate, was that when you're looking at a cultural transformation, safety is one dimension, one aspect of a cultural transformation. You as leaders are not looking at just one aspect. You are looking at a complete cultural transformation, because that also works in a particular context. A lot of other things also will have to be transformed for the safety culture to transform. And when we are looking back at what we discussed today, maybe we started off, with a story about managing a transition from being a subsidiary of a company which was going down to a company which again had to came out of zero net worth. We talked about Jesco, which was pride of place as part of Tata Steel, and understanding that you have to stand on your own feet and finding new opportunities and new identities. So the idea was why we talked about all these different changes was that the context may be different, but the underlying principles of leadership will still apply. So it's not just about okay, what is the role of CGM safety and what is the role of HOD in managing safety transformation? It is the role of what is the role of a leader in managing a transformation. And within that, you can figure out what to do. So that was the larger picture that I was trying to look at. So thank you very much for sharing those perspectives with us and helping us understand how do you manage major transformations with compassion, with an understanding of how systems can supplement the human touch, and with an understanding that at the end of the day, it is the character of the leader which will finally drive it. And the vision of the leader which will finally drive it. That persistence and that openness to new approaches. The point that you made about Mr. Sharma being a maverick, but you needed him for the technological context. And it was that spark of genius that you needed with all the, behavioral baggage that you had to carry. And that is the role of a leader. And I think when we are talking about cultural transformation in safety, you will have the same issues. There are a lot of technological changes to be made. There are a lot of things to be changed. But what it needs is a certain clarity and ownership of safety as a value. So anything you have to figure out what your values are. So you drive from your values, you demonstrate through your behaviors, you facilitate through the systems and processes. And that is at the core of leadership. And that is the journey that I wanted to hear. And thank you so much for, sharing that journey with us with a grounded approach, with a committed approach. And I am sure I told sir that, okay, fine, we need some presentations because we need to anchor the discussion. But otherwise, we are not really interested in the presentation. What we are interested in is the story, an authentic story, which will resonate with us. And I must confess that the way it has resonated with us is something that will really carry a long way. And what we have learned from this session today is not just about managing safety. What we have learned from this session is about understanding the core role of a leader. And that was the underlying reason for requesting you. So thank you very much for sharing your insights. We look forward to more such insights. Maybe we'll give more time and we'll maybe space it more in terms of the specifics of what we want to discuss. I'm sure all our people have also found it very useful and very insightful. And, it will run in their mind for quite some time. And for this experience, I'd like to thank you. And I'd like to thank all my participants who have been, engaged in this process for their active participation and for that willingness to stay open and learn from a different context. So thank you very much, sir, and we look forward to more such interactions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Sanjeev, sir.
Thank you, Sanjeev, sir. Thank you, madam and sirs.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I enjoyed it myself. We'll take your leave now.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir,
you,
sir,
sir.
for the time and for also agreeing for the session. And we look forward, sir, for seeing you in physical programs and hearing much more in detail from you, sir. Thank you, sir.
By all means.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you all, sir. Thank you all. We'll now close the meeting.